We got them. We got them. Hold on. Hold on. So I see a lot of people out there, you know, wanting to say that our people are lying and stuff like that, man. Stop joking, man. Stop playing. Stop playing on our top, bro. Come on. Y'all really think that our people out here would sit up here and lie in the 1800s and claim to be something they wasn't and stuff like that? Did y'all really think about the establishment of the states and when these states was established in the first place? Also dealing with the Seminole Wars and Indian Territory. Did y'all really think that through? And it's funny, right? Because I always ask these people, I want to say that the Indians has, what trading company, right? What trading company did the Indians have to bring in all these slaves they would have, considering that most of the states were still owned by the Indians in the 1700s? Y'all ever thought to think about that, right? You never thought to really sit back and think about what the Seminole Wars was about and who was really called Seminole? The only reason why you would be even called a Seminole is the fact that you ran away, right? Seminole and Muskogee. Muskogee. Yes, indeed. Like, for example, I decided to check this book out. You see it's North American and the West Indian, you know. Let's take a closer look for the people that need, you know, you can't really see like that. But you see what's happening right here, right? North American and the West Indian. Yeah. All right. It's funny, right, that people don't realize that all these towns and all these states was, you know, most of these things came from the names of what the Indians called things, right? Like Canada, right? Coweta, Savannah, well, Mississippi, right? California, Missouri, Iowa, Florida. Where y'all really think these names came from, man? Look at this. The Coweta, a town of Georgia to which General Oglethorpe had traveled. It is not less, all right, than 500 miles from Frederica. It belongs to the Creek Indians. So Coweta, Georgia belongs to the Creek Indians. It was named by the Indians. Coweta, Georgia. Interesting. Or Coweta, you know. Us down in Georgia, some people say Coweta, some people say Coweta. And I seen something, right, like a particular interview where they said that us Eastern Woodlanders are mixed and all this other BS. But as I continue to ask, what company you think that the Indians were trading slaves in all of these states, considering they were going to war with these people in the 1700s, right? The Cherokee War that happened in 1776. You really think that's the same time they were trading slaves with these folks? Stop playing with us, man. And it's funny, right? Going back in the 1800s, I'm constantly coming across things where the Indians themselves said they were full-blooded, but the people that was writing the papers said allegedly, right? It's called simple spell work, accusatory statements to make the person, right, seem less truthful, right? To make the truthful people out to be a liar and the liars out to be truthful, right? That's simply what a lot of these Pan-Africans operate off of, right? They don't actually listen to the oral tradition itself. They listen to hearsay from the enemy, right? That we all mixed and all that other jazz. Yeah, stop playing with us. And even to this day, let's really zoom in real quick. It's funny, right? Because, you know, people often say, oh, you know, bring up this information. I got y'all, man. Y'all don't think I've been really sitting back and just really doing the due diligence to find stuff out? That Indian lad, right? Again, run away from his master on the fourth instance. He had upon him a blue Baravian, Baravian coat, brown vest and breeches, was barefooted and bare-legged. One of his eyelashes is white, black hair and slit in each ear. Interesting. Let's really go down a little bit, right? Right, this was in Scotland around that same time frame. There we go again, 1700s, right? When they were battling these Indians, right? Very interesting indeed, right? and simply taking prisoners of war and relabeling them off as something else. Interesting indeed, my brother. Interesting indeed. Let's see. When is this newspaper title? The Edinburgh Evening, y'all see what it is, right? The ID number. Scotland, that's when he was sold. The person was sold. Racial descriptor before they started their census records, right? Indian, and his origin was in North America. Gender, male. Interesting, right? Runaways. You see what's really happening right here for the ones in the naysayers is the fact that the term Negro and black and all of that was simply for the people of American ancestry once you were captured as a prisoner of war. Interesting indeed. Let's look at another kicker. You feel what I'm saying? Because y'all really playing with us. Let's look at this one more time. What does it say? Let's look at this very closely. Most Native Americans, right, so-called, if living in Britain today, would be regarded as being black, especially if their ancestry were not known. So black is not synonymous with African. That's the first thing. It's a class system, okay? Especially if their ancestry were not known. Negro was also used in a general way in North American colonies, right? During that 1700, I just showed y'all what happened, right? So some examples illustrate the use of Negro and black as applied to people of American ancestry. And I want y'all to really meditate on this. Really think about that. Really think about that, right? I just showed y'all that the people, I just showed y'all some evidence about a runaway that he classified as Indian before the so-called census records. And now you see right here that the American Indian was regarded as a black people, right? Right? Interesting. So it's kind of strange, right? And that is the fact that it says for people that have ancestry that was not known, and that the American Indian could also be synonymous with Negro. Is that the reason why they called us the American Negro or the Black American today? Hmm, that's something to think about. So here's the real kicker. The indigenous population in the Southeast decreased from an estimated 500,000 in 1540 to 90,000 in 1730. Interesting. Y'all really think they were getting African slaves and trading with these people at the same time? And 82% lost. I wonder what was happening. I wonder. A shatter zone, indeed. This is probably the definitive work on the southeastern U.S. shatter zone. But you know what's funny, right? Let's look at the bottom of the over 12 million Africans, right? So-called. We already proved that that was a fallacy based off the relabeling of the millions of Indians, right? And to the transatlantic slave trade from the 16th century, which is the 1500s, like, take a look up, 1540, interesting. To the 1800s, right? Only 4%, roughly, so-called 470,000 men and women and children were sent to North America. Wait. So you tell me that the number went from 500,000 Indians and then so-called 500,000 estimated, right? 500,000 Africans right after that, right? So 500,000 Indians started to go kapoof in the air between the 15 and 1700s, and somehow all these Africans around that same number was appearing and somehow was sent into North America. But you know what's funny, right? How could that be the case when most slaves started to come in the late 1700s, right? Considering that I just showed y'all Georgia was still owned by the Indians in the 1700s, right? Isn't that interesting? Because the Seminole Wars was also, right, the land was still owned by the Indians in Florida in the 1800s. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So what is all of these ship manifests that y'all love to claim, right? Because you know what's funny, right? I've come across, you know, ship manifests around that very convenient time, but most of these manifests was simply going from one part of the Americas into another part of the Americas. And when I look up documents, right, it's not all these people that they said came, right? When you really look into it and how most of these are in the 1800s, right, when all these battles was going on with the Indians and they were taking them prisoner, right? Ancestry was not known. So you went from being 500,000 to 500,000 Negroes. And you know what's funny, right? For those that don't believe that Negro was used for the American again, you know, here's another one, right? Here's another one. Thus, the commonly used label for the so-called indigenous people, right, in the 1500s in Brazil, they called them Negroes de terra, blacks of the land. Wait. And who is this by? Oh my goodness. Why don't your Pan Africans ever mention this, right? Why don't they ever allow you to meditate on the fact that, hundreds of thousands or even millions of Americans were called Negroes, right? People of American blood and, pure blooded Americans, right? And they called them Negroes, right? The first people, right? Negro de Guinea, later in 1757, the Indian mission villages, right. You see what I'm saying? Negro de Tela, Negros de Terra, really? Really? But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. And shout out to everybody that show love and contribute to the channel by way of the Patreon as well as to send me cash apps. My cash app is at the description. All right, when you click on my page, for the ones, YouTube is kind of being biased a little bit. So I appreciate everybody that sends and contributes through way of finances and as well shares the video. I started another page, another YouTube page, just in case. So I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, that button right there. But peace and wado.